Fellow hunters, welcome. Can you feel it in the air? The potential, the crackle, the tingle on your skin. Well, it's time, finally, for everyone's favorite thunder puppy. Meet, then, Zinogre. Named after an ogre, of course, because he's as ugly as one. Okay, look, while how he works is both fascinating and badass, I've never kinda clicked with his aesthetic. But look, I don't want to start on a negative, much rather a positive. Charge forward into this current video and really spark a discussion on the Thunder Wolf Wyvern. His forelimbs thick and muscled, able to crush into the very rock beneath him, with razor-sharp claws adorning his paws, each almost as piercing as his roars. White fur lining his body, interchanging with golden plated scale, giving him this regal appearance, capped off with a wolven face, adorned with twin horns, standing proud as he bears his fanged maw and chin spikes. Seriously, who the fuck thinks chin spikes are cool? He could use his lower jaw as a fork! And then, of course, we have his tail, broad, and essentially a tool for battering his enemies into submission. Zinogre then is used to being the unchallenged apex of all he surveys, and what he surveys is the misty peaks he calls home. Enough physical strength to wrestle down an angry Tigrex, speed and grace that will make a Nagakuga jealous. He essentially is the full package, and it is being delivered first class to your face, and no, it's not going to be handled with care. Using the perfect triumvirate of speed, strength, and agility, leaping into the air as fast as you can blink, twirling in the moonlight and slamming down with back or tail, surging forward with a shoulder barge that would make even a greatsword user froth at the mouth, the horns able to impale you without a second thought, armor shredding like paper. He really is able to hold his own, but he needs a little bit more than this to continue staking his claim. He gets regularly into fights, aggressively territorial. He would rather die than give up his land. Fortunately, the land is full of living lights, painting the air in beautiful bioluminescence. These are the Thunderbugs, tiny little beetle-esque creatures that somebody stuck a mini taser to. And Zinogre, well, he is a fan. So him and them have a symbiotic relationship, and it's electrifying! Because what a Thunderbug does, as the name might shockingly imply, is release small amounts of electricity. When threatened, when scared, when under attack, it will supply a little bit of a jolt. Harmless by itself, but when they come together in great swarms, the energy is shared and great thunderbolts lurch out. Frying those nearby. However, that is rare, unless Zinogre is involved. So how does this all connect? You see, Zinogre's main prey is a quagga, this colourful, plump bird that makes the most irritating sounds. Honestly. And what the Gwagger eats, well, you guessed it, thunderbugs. So what the thunderbugs up and did is go, alright lads, that wolfy bastard over there has been eating these bird-brained fuckers that been munching on us. So what I'm suggesting is we bob on over to him, move in, and then when one of these cluckers comes for us, irony will ensue, and they'll get eaten instead. Innit? I'm so sorry. But imagine a swarm of insects communicating like that.
Double kill.
I really hope I'm not alone. This is going to be one of those things where I wake up, rewatch my video and go, so what I'm suggesting is we bob on over to him, move in, and then when one of these cluckers comes for us... What the hell is this? I'm seriously starting to wonder if that whole thing was worth the effort. Either way, Zinogre is now covered in a swarm of thousands of thunderbugs. And they, as you know, generate electricity when agitated. Well, why would they be agitated on Zinogre? Well, when Zinogre is agitated, they sense it. When he is threatened, they are threatened. And generate electricity they do. Zinogre then with special battery-esque organs that can store and distribute the charge to his body. And he uses this to not only add deadly effect to his already impressive physical onslaught by sheathing his very body in lightning, he can also use it to enhance his strength. You know when someone gets shocked and their muscles lock up and they suddenly like spasm into a contorted pose? Well, Zinogre can weaponize that quirk of electricity on muscles. By giving just a small jolt, he can rapidly increase the firing speed of his muscle fibers, increasing his physical force. But it goes a lot further than this. You see, once Zinogre has taken on enough charge, well, he ascends. His eyes now a vortex of blue emanating in the darkness. He is veritably overflowing with power. Now able to fight even more ferociously, he is nigh unstoppable. But, well, he can go even further beyond.
And this is to go even further beyond!
Yep, he has a level 2 to his charge, and this is dangerous. See, Zinogre cannot take on infinite amounts of electricity, and he's in danger of burning himself out. In order to alleviate this, the fur that stands on end serves as a conduit to filter off excess current in order to keep his levels safe, lest critical mass be achieved. But in this supercharged state, he is nary untouchable, paralyzing all around him in thunderblight agony by his mere presence. And on top of all of this, he can enrage normally too, becoming incessantly fast, a thunderbolt of force cascading at you. That is the Thunderwolf. One of the most mysterious aspects to this dramatic transformation is that the claws on his feet change. Their physical shape, their arrangement, alignment shifts to become even more deadly. How this is achieved is still a mystery to the guild. The young Zinogre are clad in fur from head to toe, no visible scale. This is to encourage even more early thunderbugs and to give them even more outlets for the voltage, getting them used to it from an early age. They will molt most of this as they grow up. I imagine a Zinogre pup is actually quite an adorable little shock dog. So Zinogre was only discovered because it was forced out of its mountain home by Amatsu, the living storm. It decided, I'm having this mountain, and the Zinogre, unable to compete, came down en masse, technically becoming, or at least forced into acting as, an invasive species. A crisis in the guild, the hunters rallied, and a great war began. Now, that's kind of all there is to Zinogre. He's very strong, very fast, a thunder wolf, he's got this symbiotic lightning fun, and he really works. He is an intense battle. You don't just feel like you're battling speed, you feel like you are battling that strength, and that's rare. He is a tough fight. I still honestly kind of struggle with him to this day. There's just something about him. And while I'm not a fan of his coloring and some of his general shape, I can't deny the fascination I find in his role in the ecosystem. And interestingly enough, he was the first Fanged Wyvern, and indeed the only Fanged Wyvern for many, many years, until World came out and... So that's Zinogre. I imagine a lot of you really love him. He's a lot of people's favourite monsters, and I can understand why objectively. And I will admit, I kind of completely shift my opinion when it comes to one of Zinogre's other two forms. Introducing the Stygian Zinogre, black, red, and silver, a dragon energy fueled subspecies that just looks gorgeous. The physical form is still very similar, but the lightning now crackling with dark dragon energy is just breathtaking. It achieves this in a very similar way to normal Zinogre, but instead of a symbiosis with thunderbugs, it has a symbiosis with dracophage bugs. They feed on a berry known as the dragonfell berry, which contains within it trace amounts of dragon energy, the stuff that Deviljho breathes out, the rarest element, normally chiefly in the hands of, well, the elder dragons. It's their divine right, meddled in by a certain few non-elder monsters. So through the berry into the insect, from the insect into the Zinogre, it gets charged with this mighty force, turning black and red and becoming faster, stronger than ever before. Larger too, it's now able to combine its electric onslaught with dragon blight for even more impact. It's just fucking badass, let's be honest. But the one cost of this is they have lost the expected resistance a normal Zinogre has to thunder, so they're actually susceptible to it. So, you know, you win some, you lose some, but look, overall, yeah, I am a big fan of Stygian Zinogre, and if that was the base one, I'd probably just absolutely love him in general, my word! And this then, Zinogre lives in harsher regions, freezing tundras, boiling volcanoes, the dragon energy thought to give its body the ability to withstand such extremes of temperature and climate. So, there is one more then form of Zinogre, a deviant, an exceptionally powerful, unique member of the species that has achieved a level of catastrophic might that it is an emergency for the guild. A Zinogre then born with abnormally large lightning organs. Overactive, they stored and stored and stored electricity way beyond what should be possible. This turned the Zinogre a golden hue, it permeating and affecting his very flesh. This led him, the Thunderlord Zinogre, to be permanently supercharged. Wherever he goes, he crackles underfoot. And this means that he can charge up even further in combat to reach a third level, the True Awakening. This then is dangerous. His lightning turns gold, matching that of Rajang himself. He gains a whole host of new abilities. He can channel lightning through his horn for a deadly piercing uppercut, his horn itself enlarged, a biological change spurred on through the pulsing, barely containable energy within. The thunderbugs themselves can barely contain and control the charge being delivered. The Thunderlord almost takes on the electricity himself without the need for them, creating a feedback loop that almost wipes out his entire swarm. He is lightning incarnate, able to go toe-to-toe with elder dragons and reduce them to ash. He is beyond intimidating, and quite frankly, I absolutely hate fighting the fucker. Everything is just too much. The size of his attacks, the speed. He looks a lot better now. He looks amazing. I love gold lightning. There's a certain appeal to it, a certain je ne sais quoi, but it's something I'd much rather not see up close again anytime soon. So yeah, that's the Thunderlord, able to use his electricity in a myriad of new ways to absolutely decimate hunters sent after him. So there you go, guys. Zinogre, all of his flavors. He is an interesting monster. A really cool system that just works. And on paper, yeah, a Thunderwolf is always going to be, let's be honest, badass. Now, I will admit, when it comes to World, I mean, you'll have to let me know what you think of him, right? If you really want to see him in World's light. And admittedly, especially with all of the lightning, it would look just breathtaking. Seeing what they've done with Kirin's abilities, painting that onto Zinogre, having him jump around and come crashing down, well, literally like thunder. But for me, look, this is always very divisive. I think Zinogre doesn't look like an animal. I think he is a bit over-designed, a bit too much. I just seeing him walk through the ancient forest, to me he would stand out like a sore thumb. Maybe not as much while not charged, but as soon as he starts glowing and lit up, and it's just like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. It might entirely be just me, but World does have a more grounded, muted palette, a more, at least on the weaker monsters, i.e. anything not an Elder Dragon, a more realistic, air quotes, right? They're still kind of out there, approach. It's more towards the early era of Monster Hunter design, back with 1 and 2. In fact, look, compare something like a Diablos to a Glavenus, right? Glavenus is spiky, bright red, fire, glowing veins, a sword tail. Diablos looks very, well, almost believable. Horns, the browns, the shell, it all looks kind of like it works. It's night and day how monster design has developed. It's kind of progressed like Pokemon. But either way, I feel like Zinogre has, I don't know, he's just, something's off about him for me that I can never quite put my finger on. That said, he is much loved, and I would still love to fight him in World. I would love to fight anything in World, because they do a fantastic job at realizing the monsters in the new fashion, so I would totally be okay with him being added. And I think a hunt for him in the Coral Highlands at nighttime would be just perfect. So let me know what you think of all Thunder Puppy. Like if you've enjoyed this, subscribe for more. I will see you next time. Let me know what you'd like to be lorified next. And of course, thanks to Dignodak for the Stygian Zinogre goodness, because sadly it's not in Ultimate. I know. A goodbye.
Rage Gaming with the video float.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you even though the outro's no longer that kind of relevant. But the new one's being worked on and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.